During your studies in the United States, there are several government agencies that you might encounter as a non-immigrant in the F1 student visa category. Let's take a moment to get familiar with a few names and acronyms. The U.S. Department of State oversees visa issuance at various embassies and consulates around the world. The Department of Homeland Security provides guidance and enforces compliance with federal regulations inside the U.S. and oversees the following agencies: the Student and Exchange Visitor Program and the Student and Exchange Visitor Information System. SEVP is the federal authority that certifies U.S. schools to enroll international students under the F1 student visa. SRJC is an SEVP certified institution and therefore must comply with federal requirements for international students. The majority of our compliance is informing our students of the rules and the regulations and reporting information to SEVP through SEVIS, which is the database used by schools and government agencies to monitor international students in the United States. The SEVIS database is used by SRJC employees to create and update the Form I-20. CBP is the department responsible for border patrol at the U.S. ports of entry. When you cross the U.S. border, CBP officials will check your documents and may question your intentions for entering the U.S. These officers have the final say on whether to admit you to enter the country. ICE is the organization responsible for the enforcement of immigration law and for protecting the U.S. from transnational crime and illegal immigration. You likely won't ever interact with an ICE agent unless you violate your F1 status and become subject to deportation. USCIS can approve certain employment authorizations or requests to change your non-immigrant status or apply for permanent residency. You will only work with USCIS if you need to apply for one of these benefits. As an SEVP certified institution, SRJC employs multiple staff to help F1 students maintain their non-immigrant status in the US. The legal title of this position is Designated School Official, or DSO. DSOs are authorized by DHS to issue the Form I-20, update SEVIS, and advise international students at SRJC on the rules and benefits of their F1 status. Your primary DSO at SRJC is me, Becky Petro, International Student Advisor. Teresa Tope is also a backup DSO if I'm not available, if I'm sick or on vacation for more than a couple of days. As required by law, if you change your name, address, or major at SRJC, you must report these changes to either DSO within 10 days so that it can be updated in SEVIS. Your legal status in the United States is comprised of several official documents. First, your passport must remain valid or unexpired at all times. When you apply for the F1 visa, you should ensure that your passport will not expire for at least 6 months beyond the program end date listed on your Form I-20. If your passport will expire during your studies at SRJC, you may be able to renew it through your country's embassy in the United States. The Form I-20, also called the Certificate of Eligibility for Non-Immigrant Student Status, verifies that you have been admitted to a U.S. institution and allows you to apply for the F1 student visa. It also gives you duration of status, which allows you to remain in the U.S. after your F1 student visa stamp has expired. As long as the program end date on your Form I-20 has not passed and is still valid, and you're maintaining your F1 status by enrolling full-time, you can remain in the United States with an expired visa stamp. The F1 visa stamp inside your passport allows you to request entry at the U.S. border in F1 status. However, the CBP officer will ultimately decide whether to grant permission for you to enter the U.S. Your F1 status determines what you can and cannot do during your studies in the United States, and the F1 visa stamp may expire again if your Form I-20 is still valid. When you cross the U.S. border, you will be assigned an I-94 number, which maintains an electronic record of your arrival and departure in the United States. Your I-94 record can be retrieved online, which you may need for different applications, such as employment authorizations or a California driver's license. Thanks for listening. More information about the agency's staff and required documents can be found on these links.